Hi, everybody. This is Babs, and welcome back to White Knowledge is Power, Understanding Racism in America and Why White People Should Know Black History. Today, I'm going to talk about the Tuskegee Syphilis experiment. This is something that happened in 1932, and it affected a large group of Black men, 600 of them. In exchange for the promise of free health care, a hot meal, and free burial insurance, these men were told that they would be treated for bad blood. Bad blood was a definition that meant it could mean anything from having syphilis to having anemia, general fatigue. It was really a catch-all term at the time. So these Black men all thought they were getting this great deal in return for being a part of this study. This study was put on by the U.S. Public Health Service. This was a government-funded study. 399 of these participants had latent syphilis already. Latent meaning it was already in their system, but the symptoms weren't appearing yet. And 201 of these participants did not have latent syphilis, so they were the control group. Both parties were given placebo pills, meaning they weren't actually medicine. It was just something they gave saying it was medicine, but it really wasn't doing anything for them. It was like sugar pills, basically. So the point of this whole study was to see how syphilis reacted in the human body from start to finish. So even though 15 years into the study, the treatment for syphilis, which was penicillin, was discovered, they did not give it to these gentlemen. Untreated syphilis can lead to blindness, hearing loss, dementia, insanity, and even death. They knowingly allowed these men to walk around with untreated syphilis, even though most of them could have been cured. Isn't that wild? It's just sick. It's really just disgusting that this actually happened here in America in the 1930s. It wasn't until the 1960s that a reporter from San Francisco, Peter Buxton, discovered that this experiment was happening, and he reported it to his superiors. The superiors convened, had a discussion, and decided to continue with the study until all participants had died, had an autopsy, and that their results had been accounted for. They did nothing. So years of untreated syphilis, a cure was found, they don't get it. Someone tried to stop it. They said no. They're like, no, we're just going to continue to see what happens. Let's just let these poor men suffer and die. It wasn't until 1972 that Buxton leaked this report to a friend who was a reporter, and then the study finally shut down because the public found out about it. There was outrage, and they had to close the experiment. 1972, when this started in 1932. And people knew and chose to continue down this disgusting path. You wonder why Black people have a mistrust of medicine and doctors? Things like this have happened so many times for so many years, it's no wonder. As a result of this study, 28 participants died directly from syphilis. 100 others passed away from related complications. The disease was passed to 40 spouses and also to 19 children. The ramifications of this study went on and continue to go on for decades. The last participant actually died in 2004. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And it wasn't until 1997 that President Bill Clinton issued a formal apology on behalf of the country. A little late, isn't it? What's really disheartening is that this wasn't the only kind of experiment like this that happened. I'll talk more about them in future episodes, but this is definitely one of the most famous cases and just an absolute bloodstain on American medical practices and American history. And this is definitely something that we should learn about in school. We have to know that people in authority are allowed and should be questioned. We can't just take things at face value. Look at what they hide. Things can be hidden so easily if they want to be. Especially when you're in the minority. So that is the topic of the day. I hope you learned a little bit of something, and just keep tuning in as I educate myself, educate you guys. The information has to go out. We have to understand our history to be able to move forward, do better, repair, build this country back. Well, I don't know, back to what? Build this country into the potential that it truly holds. Just makes me think about a lot of things. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you tune in next week for the next episode. Take care, and let's end racism together.